Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the Arise Success Show, where we aim to highlight inspiring individuals and their journeys to success. My name is Jihad. I'm your host in this show. Throughout this show, dear listeners, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to send them an 07779 481822. Our guest today is Ashi Akram, who's a business coach and social media trainer. Ashi is a mom of two and has been working on social media as an income stream since 2015, helping Muslim women earn an income online via social selling. However, it was only in 2018 that Ashi took her business to the next level and went deeper with women, working on those money blocks, removing the traumas and negative emotions which are affecting them every single day. Now, in 2024, Ashi is helping women not just with social media sales, but also becoming accredited coaches too, and having deeper business breakthroughs to hit those high cash months. Her passion has widely spread in many ways, and she is here on a mission to help many more. Ashi, so lovely to have you with us today, and welcome to the Rise to Success
Assalamualaikum.
Show.
Assalamualaikum. I'm actually excited myself. I thought, oh my God, and the first thing that could happen is the glitch. I thought, oh no. But I'm here, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Walaikum salam, alhamdulillah, I'm good. Lovely to have you. How are you enjoying the weather these days? It's lovely, right?
I'm feeling a little bit cold right now, so I put a
Mm.
jumper on, but I think I'm a bit hot and cold because it got really windy. And anemic doesn't help. So alhamdulillah, it's regardless. But yeah, how are you? How are you enjoying the weather?
Alhamdulillah, it's been lovely. So yeah, being anemic, I think I do need a blood test because I do feel quite cold as well. I get cold very easily. So yeah, now and I think it's gonna start to cool down from tomorrow or from tonight. So you can probably
Yes,
feel. But alhamdulillah, the past few days have just been amazing. Alhamdulillah, I hope we have more of those days, inshallah.
inshallah. Did you get to see the Northern Lights?
I didn't know. Did you get to see them? I saw, the message came to my phone, but I was too busy. I didn't check it. And then, like an hour later, so I was like, oh my God, I missed it. I looked from the window. Didn't see anything, so I went to sleep. Did you see it?
Well, I stayed up till I think it was 12, and I was like, right, I need to be up in the morning, so I didn't. But I
Mm.
saw one of my friends about half an hour later, she got really good glimpse, and I was like, it just wasn't meant to be. So
No. And then I think they said the following day as well, but then I stayed up the following day waiting, but I didn't see anything,
nothing.
unfortunately.
Oh,
But it was lovely to see the pictures, mashallah. And I'm sure a lot of people, because I did receive pictures from people who actually saw it living in Luton. So I'm sure those who have seen it, they've enjoyed it. And inshallah for us, maybe next time, inshallah. God knows when.
inshallah. Inshallah.
Inshallah. So, Ashi, if you can tell us, inshallah, to start with, tell us a bit more about what you do as a business coach and social media trainer.
So I feel like, and I say this, and probably my clients say the same, that my social media profile actually doesn't reflect the amount of work that I do. Like when you come on, you probably think she's a social media coach, she's a business coach. But it's a lot deeper than that. When I came into the industry, I had, self-sabotaging traits. I had energy leaks. My money mindset wasn't there. And I needed someone that knows about social media, knows about business, but also knows about healing. So that's
Mm,
what I do. I help, especially Muslim women that want to have a full-blown business, want to make that income stream, but they're also scared to
mm,
be seen. What is society going to think, which is a major one. But they also lack that self-belief and that self-discipline because we've never had that as women in our society. So yeah, there's a range of from healing to business to social media. That's my three core areas.
wow,
Yeah.
love it. So, from healing to business to social media.
Yes.
I'm just writing that down because I have some questions in that. So
Okay.
with that, with that transition, is it so you take them from healing to starting a business to being on social media? Is it in that order?
No, it's actually not. So it's either women come to me saying, Ashi, I need help with sales or my business isn't working. So the healing side actually comes in conversation. So if I'd be like,
Mhm.
okay, why is it not working? I don't get leads, okay, then it's the social media. Or my business isn't working, then it's a business issue. Or it's I get leads, but then they don't convert, and I'm like, okay, energetically or money mindset, or maybe they have a fear of success.
Mm,
So it depends. It's like a funnel that I when I'm in the DMs, I take them them through without them realizing. So,
Mm.
and then if someone comes to me and says, I want to make money, or I want to earn an income, I want to become a social media coach, and then I go through that stage. So yeah.
Wow, quite
Yeah.
interesting, subhanAllah. And what you said about self-sabotaging as well, that's, I think, a big thing that comes quite a lot, right? And you said that you've been through that. Could you tell us more about how that can stop us from doing so much in life?
So it can happen in I'll use weight loss as an example, and I'll give my
Mm.
personal. So weight loss, we want to lose 9 pounds fast, or however many kg, and then we start losing weight, and then we're like, do you know what? I'm seeing the results. I'll go have a cake, or I'll go have a takeaway. So
Mm.
we sabotage the results. The same thing happens in business, where we're starting to see success, and I had this pattern, hence why I went down the healing side, that I would go from business to business. So at one point, I was a baker. I once wanted to become a makeup artist. So
Mm.
I've been through different businesses where soon as I got the heights of success, I was like, right, on to the next thing. And I was like, why am I sabotaging my own business? And it's because I didn't feel validated. I didn't get the pat on the back. Nobody said to me, actually, do you know what? Well done. Carry on. And I think it's just that validation that we seek. And when we start seeing that success, we also have that fear of success, that when we get there, what am I about to lose? So it comes down to our programming, and I see them qualities in a lot of women that I was like, oh my God, that was me. Where they
Mm.
start a business, they haven't seen the fruits, or they start to see the fruits, they get scared, and they take their foot off the pedestal. So yeah.
Mm. Why is it that it would be scary for, for some to see that success? Is it because they're not used to having that?
There's that, but there's also of in our, if I see that success, what am I going to give up? So especially us women, I mean, if they're a mum like me and they're a wife like me, they will think, okay, if I become successful or more successful than my husband, for example, am I going to lose him? Is that going to sabotage my relationship? Or if they're a mum like me, and again, especially at the very beginning, when I mean, I started in the online business when my son was 3 months old. He's mashallah 9 now. And I remember
Mm.
at the age of 6 months or even a year, I would be going up and down the country for my network marketing business. But when I look back, it's like in order for me to have success, I sacrificed. And even now we think, okay, if I need to make money, I need to do a 9 to 5, but I'm sacrificing the time with my children or the time with my family. So it's
Mm.
that conflicting conflicting in values as well. What am I going to lose if I go ahead and choose that path?
Okay, right. Because I
Yeah.
was wondering in terms of, because success is great. So I was wondering why would it be scary? But it does make a lot of sense because of that
Yeah.
responsibility that they hold and having to weigh out which one do I go
Yes.
for. So it's quite a lot to take on board when it comes
Yes.
to mums, having to or wanting to do business. And that's a question I'm going to ask you later as well, because you're a mom of two, mashallah. So in terms of,
Yeah.
it can be quite, for moms, it's like, how do I do it? So inshallah, we'll get some advice from you on that.
Sure.
Now, with social media itself, I feel like now with businesses, social media is a huge part of
Yeah.
business. So I'm wondering how the fact that it's becoming very important running a business nowadays, how has your journey been for you in using social media as an income stream?
So when I started, it was as easy as start a Facebook or an Instagram page and just start posting. You get your friends and family to share your page, and you're like, right, I'm ready to go. Now you have to do the complete opposite. You need a content plan. You need to have this brand image so that you stand out. You need to make sure your links are working, and it's not the same anymore. And when I completely like now, when businesses come to me, or even when a family member says, hey, I'm starting up like a hijab bouquet business, or a clothing business is a very common one, have a look at my page, and it's like, oh no, you've done it wrong. Like, you've started off on the wrong foot, just because nobody knows. And I think there's so many guides out there, even on TikTok, YouTube, there's so many videos of how to start an Instagram profile, but you do need like a tailored plan. And when I started my journey in 2015, I did exactly that. My senior, so I was selling aloe vera weight loss products. They gave me a bunch of before and afters of women from America, from Canada, and I was like, right, let me just post these and hoping for a sale. the sales didn't come, but I was just mimicking what my seniors were telling me to do. And that's where my passion for social media started, because I think within 2 years, I had 700 Muslim women all over the UK, all over even in Canada, America, Philippines, join my team. But none of them wanted to show their face. None of them wanted to put who they are, that they've started this business, because they wanted to kind of keep it a secret, for stuff like what a family member's going to think, what if they judge me because I'm selling aloe vera products. And that's where my social media content plan started from, where I was creating content for these women that, that they can get sales. And yeah, that's where my love for social media started from. And since then, the income's come along too, alhamdulillah.
That's great, mashallah. How important is you utilizing social media when it comes to business nowadays? Those who don't have social media, can they do without it? Now, with social media, of course, it comes with because a lot of people are using it. It's that it's like there is a specific strategy for it, and if you don't utilize the ads, for example, or paying for certain things, do you have that visibility? So what's your advice when it comes to that? Because it can be quite draining, having to try and
Yes.
yeah.
So when it comes to if you're a business offline social media, I would highly recommend, like, my dad's had his business since I was 2, you know.
Mm.
Even he's on social media now. I'm like, you need to, because it literally drives, my sister's the one that runs it, and it drives the sales massively. So even if you're an old school person like him, like, going on social media, because the first person, like, I mean, even yourself, if you're looking for something, a place to eat from, whether you're traveling somewhere, even hotels, nobody goes on booking.com anyway. They go on TikTok or Instagram, type in the hotel name just to see what it looks like, and other people tagging in. So it is heavily influencing people on decision making. But when it comes to sales and growing on social media, I kind of disagree with ads. I do feel like organic way is the way forward, only because, especially if you're a niche like myself, like where you work with Muslim community, should I say. Now, Instagram isn't the best, especially with what's going on in Palestine and in Gaza. They are shadow banning so many content creators accounts. So as soon as you put an ad on and you put in just a Muslim community, it's not going to get visibility at all. So I've learned a way with social media without paying ads. And I've had some clients come to me say, actually, especially my social media management one, saying let's use ads, and I'm like, no, we can do it without, because Facebook and Instagram aren't exactly our friends, should I say. So yeah.
No, that's a good point. Thank you for raising that, because a lot of people are actually on Instagram. So what do you think would be the best organically? What would be the best platform to use now? Or would it be LinkedIn, for instance?
No, so still use Instagram and TikTok, because that's where people are heavily consuming. Like, if you look at time-wise, they are on there. LinkedIn is more for professionals, but if you're an average user, and it does depend on who your ideal niche is. But I think it's just for businesses to get to know your business on a deeper level. It's not just a clothing business, or it's not just a coaching business, but get to know your ideal audience, their buying habits, and really using Instagram or even TikTok as a sales funnel. When you optimize it like that, it's no longer just a platform, and you're driving. And I said this to one of my clients last week as well, that right now, if she wanted to take months off, she can, because the leads are just flooding in. And that's where you want your social media to be, where if you was to post for a second, or even for a month or 3 months like I did last year, you're still going to get your sales or your leads, because your content plan is still working for you.
Okay, that's interesting. So content plan is quite key, and that's actually the next question that I had in terms of how do you advise businesses to make the best use of social media for the businesses. So content plan is key when it comes to social media, would you say?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest confusion a lot of users have is a content plan and a marketing plan, which are two different plans. You want to have a content plan that has a marketing plan within it, which looks at people's buying habits, looks at how to nurture them, trains them to take action. Again, a lot of users are online where they're posting, but they've trained the audience not to do anything with that content. Just sit there, like it, or even save it, but they're not getting leads in because they've not trained their audience. So it's just really being key with the marketing plan. And again, it comes back down to watching TikToks and YouTube, having generic plans. And then
Mm.
you're like, why is the leads not coming in? And it's because you don't have a tailor-made one to your audience, to your offer.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's different ways around it.
That's interesting because I have no idea what's the difference between content plan and marketing plan. And I'm assuming a lot of our listeners are the same. So could you tell us a little bit more about the difference?
Yeah, sure. So a content plan is, for example, doing your carousel and a reel. Both might be just for educational purposes. A marketing plan is where, just say, for example, you have to activate the need of why does this person need to buy what you're selling them. I.e., if I told you, I want you to buy this washing machine, you'll say, actually, I don't need it. But I'll say, but this washing machine is going to save you 4 hours a week, and it's going to cost you, I don't know, £500 less a year. You'll be like, right, I need it. So it's about the marketing plan activates the needs, nurtures the audience to buy, and then, gets them to take action to buy. Your content plan is utilizing reels, your carousel, different copywriting methods. So there's a lot in it. I mean, I can sit here for hours talking about copywriting methods and content, and yeah.
It's quite interesting. So, for my understanding, content plan, it seems like it's more for raising awareness, and then marketing plan is more for sales and leads.
Yeah, so it's sales psychology, getting the reader to actually take an action and buying, planting seeds in their mind of, wait, actually, I didn't know. It's like if you had these symptoms and the doctor said, oh, by the way, you need iron tablets because you're feeling fatigue. You're like, oh, is that what it is? But you had the
Mm.
expert to tell you it's the same thing. People are feeling these feelings regardless of what industry they're, niche they're in, until an expert tells them saying, are you feeling like this? Well, this is why. This is what you need.
Mm.
So
So,
yeah.
there seems to be quite a specific language to use as well when it comes to marketing.
Yes, yes. Look, I mean, if we're talking about copywriting, you've got like the PADS method, which is pain, agitate, desire, solution, and then you've got
Mm.
the IDA. So there's different methods to write in. It probably sounds like gibberish to whoever's listening, but yeah, I promise if you go into Google and type it, it'll make more sense.
It's quite a lot to take on, right, when it comes to social media, right?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's not just as simple as opening an Instagram or a TikTok account and then posting your business. There's a lot of thought process, a lot of planning to,
Yes.
strategic moves to make.
God, yeah, listening to you is like, wow, there's a lot to social media and business than we think because, some don't use it for businesses, just for social aspect of things. But those who want to use it for businesses, it is actually quite tough, and you
A
have to
lot.
quite
Yeah.
understand quite a lot behind it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just going to quickly remind our dear listeners, just in case anybody joined us a bit later, that we have Ashley with us on the show today. Excuse me, who is a business coach and social media trainer. She's a mom of two and currently helping women with social media sales, as well as becoming accredited coaches too and having deeper business breakthroughs. Dear listeners, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them an 0779 481822. So, Ashi, on the topic of social media and so on, so I'm assuming a lot of businesses, like speaking about my own work as well. I personally struggle with social media. So, is that something where you think that people should learn about to utilize it, or just if they can hire somebody to do it for them?
There's two ways about it. I think long term, as if you're a coach, for example, and you're there to serve the community and serve women. Social media. I mean, a lot of my clients come to me and they absolutely, and I don't like using this word, but they hate using social media.
Mm.
So there's two ways: either get an expert to teach you how to do it, and fall in love with it, or get an expert to do it for you, because you can't run away from social media. It's not, unless you want to operate offline, which again, you want that, you want the marketing, you want people to know about your services and you want to grow, then you need social media. But when it comes to a lot of people, again, think that I'll just put an ad on and that'll solve all my social media problems, and it doesn't. Like I mentioned before, especially with if you're in a Muslim community where your clients or your audience is, who you're bringing in is Muslims, then the ads are going to kind of work against you.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
So, you would recommend ads to be used only by experts, really, and it depends at the moment with what's going on with the situation.
Well, I'm
To
an expert that doesn't really use it, so I know there's others that do, but I only because you can grow without paying Facebook. I've done it. My clients are an example of it, but it's just mastering. As a business, you need to master the art of social media as a funnel. So whether you
Mm.
do that by getting training yourself. But definitely, if you're a business that's looking to start on social media, then the first thing that I would, why we look up, what kind of course to build, or what kind, if you're a clothing business, what kind of clothes to get, then social media needs to be on that list of let me train myself so that I can optimize social media to bring money into my business.
And would you recommend specific training for people who would want to train themselves or kind of learn the strategy themselves or learn how to utilize it? Are there specific training or any sort of direction that somebody can
So,
take?
I mean, you can get training courses online. Again, there's so much on YouTube as well that you can train yourself on. But I would say find an expert in your field.
Right.
So that can, because there's very generic training that's one shoe fits all, and it doesn't. Especially like even with myself, when I was in how I would train someone on weight loss products to clothing to coaching is complete different, 3 different niches, 3 different buying habits. Like if you look at weight loss is very quick. If you look at coaching, people think about it, then they decide, and then they come back. So there's different buying habits. So go to the expert that's in that field and get a training course if you can, or just do a basic one from YouTube. At least you know where to start off from, and then once you've made the money, get an expert in to do the job for you.
As in to get started, just do something from YouTube and then take it. So you're saying, for example, if somebody is in, let's use weight loss because you've used that example, when you're saying to get an expert in that, what kind of expert would they go to?
So you would look at, for example, a social media coach or a trainer that has had success in that field. Like if you're going for a generic, like a lot of social media trainers that are trending at the minute are either coaches or just for example, aesthetics, beauty aesthetics. Even though weight loss doesn't fall because it's more of fitness, but finding a fitness social media trainer who's got results on making other users or accounts successful, that will give you the similar training, or even if it's a PDF, it's going to guide you forward in the right direction. I think what's happening now is a lot of businesses are using ChatGPT. Even though it's fantastic, it's great for ideas. However, it's still not the expert because it's many years behind. I think it's operated from 2024. And look at 22, sorry. Look at 2022 and 2024. I mean, there's been so many trends, so many algorithm changes, the platforms have changed. So definitely go to an up-to-date expert.
That's quite interesting what you mentioned about ChatGPT. And the more you talk, it's like, oh my God, there's so much that it's good to kind of have a background on it. Yeah. And it's like, wow, it kind of feels like, how many things am I going to learn? And that's why experts are quite good with that. So talking about ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is something I started using, and as you said, it's great for ideas, but then I've noticed it's all of the ideas, it's not organic ideas. It just kind of searches the internet and gives, I mean, it's great start. It's great kind of like to help you to think of ideas.
Absolutely.
But then you've got to think of something that's more organic towards what you're looking for. A lot of people use it. In terms of what's your recommendation when it comes to using ChatGPT in business? Is it a good way to make a start and then you kind of find your ways, or better not to use it at all?
I would say if you're using it for a business idea. So for example, if I wanted to create a course for social media for weight loss, fitness, if I use ChatGPT, it will allow me to broaden my mind with other things that I may not have thought about, but then I will go explore in those areas and then craft my offer like that. So I would use it for research information, but then you would add and take away and see it like a buffet, take what you need and leave what you don't.
Yeah. That's quite an interesting point. What about getting it to write, for example, your content, or to write your, even some people were telling me they could write their CV in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend with it, using it to write things for you?
I think because I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but because I'm the expert, I can see which content's been written by ChatGPT because of the wording. I think you lose your one of the things on social media to become a success of what you're doing is have your own brand identity, your brand voice. And when you use ChatGPT so much, especially writing content, you lose that. You're no longer authentic.
Somebody actually told me this before, that it's got a certain style, like for example, let's embark on this journey, whatever. So you can really tell that it's ChatGPT.
And then the emojis that it uses, you can just tell the way it's written. So
Yeah, it's quite interesting because when I first started using it, I had no idea, and I would just copy things as it is. And then it was a brand strategist actually. She was telling me that it's very ChatGPT style. I was like, "What do you mean it's very ChatGPT? I can't see it." She was like, "Look, let's embark on this journey. This and that. This is very ChatGPT." So unless, as you said, unless you're an expert, you won't know. So you can kind of get away sometimes with its use, but then when we overuse it, people can just tell that it's ChatGPT. So that's a really good point where we can actually use it to generate ideas to get us started, but we need to make sure we edit it so that it's representing our is it personal identity? Is that what you call it, or brand identity?
Your brand identity, your brand voice, your brand identity, who you are. And you just need to remember your content needs to speak your ideal niche's language, not yours, and not ChatGPT's either.
Yes. And that's why I said there's a lot of work behind it. So it's great to get started, but there's a lot of work that we need to do with the information it gives us to make it more unique to us. Time has gone very fast. It's nearly already break. Yeah. So just a reminder, dear listeners, that we have Ashley on the show today with us, who's a business coach and social media trainer. She's a mom of 2 and currently helping women with social media sales, as well as becoming accredited coaches too. I think it's maybe started a little bit earlier. We're going to go for a break, and inshallah, we're going to continue after the break. So, dear listeners, we're going to go for a short break. So, stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly.
أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Would you like to sponsor the Azan? If so, give us a call on 01582 481810 or email us on info@inspirefm.org.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Assalamu Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to the Arise to Success show. Apologies, I went slightly over the time before the break. I was looking at the time at the top of the screen. I didn't realize it's actually 26 past already. So apologies for going over. Just a reminder, dear listeners, that we have Ashi Akram with us on the show today, who's a business coach and social media trainer. Ashi is a mom of two and has been working on social media as an income stream since 2015, helping Muslim women earn an income online via social selling. However, it was only in 2018 that Ashi took her business to the next level and went deeper with women, working on those money blocks, removing the traumas and negative emotions which are affecting them every single day. Now, in 2024, Ashi is helping women not just with social media sales, but also becoming accredited coaches too, and having deeper business breakthroughs to hit those high cash months. Her passion has widely spread in many ways, and she is here on a mission to help many more. Dear listeners, if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any questions specifically for Ashi, please feel free to send them in 07794818822. So actually, before the break, we were discussing quite a lot about social media and its use on, in business, and that social media has a lot to it than just having a social life on social media. And we also talked just before the break about ChatGPT and the use of it and the best use of it based on your recommendations in terms of having to edit the information that it gives us to make it more unique to our brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, a little bit more about you specifically when it comes to social media, because we don't talk much about you, and I like in this show to talk about the journey as well, to highlight that, because the journey when we start anything or specifically business, it's very lonely, specifically for Muslims, right? And Muslim women. And there's a lot behind it. And a clear example of what we just talked about, the social media, there's a lot behind it. And we go through a lot of struggles. I would love if you can tell us a little bit more about your journey in business since, since 2015 when you started until now. What are some of the wins that you can share with us, some of the struggles, and what do you do when it comes to overcoming those challenges, or any examples of the past that you have gone through?
So when I started, as I mentioned, I was on maternity leave and my son was only 3 months at the time. I remember I always wanted to do recruitment consultancy, and I went to an interview and they said, okay, you'll be working about 42 hours a week. And I remember coming back, looking at my son thinking, that's a lot of time. Like, when am I going to be home? When am I going to be with him? And I had postnatal depression as well. So that gave me anxiety, knowing the fact that I will be away. And at the time, one of my husband's relatives, she came and she said, do you want to sell aloe vera products? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I didn't think much of it. She's like, right, you need to buy a box. It's £200. And even then, £200, I thought, that's a big investment. What if I can't sell it? And the doubt started there and then, And then I remember saying to some family members, I'm going to sell these products, and they laughed. So again, from the get-go, the support wasn't there, and I didn't think too much of it. Now, knowing what I do, it was that, the support system, the lack of trust, the lack of confidence of starting a business, and just not believing in myself, that from the get-go, I wasn't my best friend in my business. I was my enemy, should I say. So when I started in network marketing, which again was selling weight loss products, from 2015 up until 2017, I was going from one company to another. I was selling groceries at one point in a network marketing, hierarchy platform. I was selling skincare. I was selling makeup, back to weight loss coffees. And Weight Loss Coffee, the business that I joined back in 2016, was the true success that I had. The opportunity, and again, I remember making my vision board. I put a Mercedes on there, and again, people laughed. They were like, "Oh, it's a home business. You won't be able to achieve that." And believe it or not, I actually went to Canada in front of 4,000 people. I was given an award because I was the first Muslimah to take it to Diamond. I hit Carplan. And I think it was that surreal moment that I thought, you know what? Us women, especially Muslim women, do have the opportunity to achieve whatever we desire. And I started looking at, manifestations, law of attraction. And nobody was out there teaching us about law of attraction or manifestations, but from an Islamic perspective, how to apply deen to it. And then I kind of became my own philosopher, should I say. Like I started doing motivational speaks to the team, saying you can do it, put your mind to it. But again, I didn't have the tools or the training or the techniques to help these women that have lack of, trust, have a lack of confidence, was sabotaging their business like I was. And that's where in 2018 I started to do my training in NLP. And then I realized, you know what, forget weight loss coffee. These women need more help. They don't need to lose weight. They need to lose this, identity that they hold, that they can't achieve anything because they're just a mom, or because they're a woman in our society, especially in the South Asian community. Like I mentioned, the world is against us, should I say, and so are we. So it's about creating that online business with the most littlest resources. Do you need to have a MacBook? You don't. Do you need to have this fancy desk? You don't. Do you need to have this luxury lifestyle? You don't. But you can make do with less, should I say. So yeah, 2018 I started my training. My daughter at the time was, I think, 6 months. I remember my first child wasn't a breastfeeder. She was. I would be holding her, burping her, and doing my training at the same time. Then COVID happened, and unfortunately, before COVID, I lost my granddad, and that's when I had my deepest healing. That's when I really started on my depression. I was going through cancer at the time. And I remember holding that vision. I was like, no, I need to pull through, because this isn't for me. This is for the other women out there. Because a lot of women want to start, but then they end their business very quickly as well. And it's because they don't have that healing side. So yeah, I mean, challenges, I share that because even if you look at the last, last year I had skin cancer, the year before, I mean, I've been going through a lot. Even if you look at my social media, you probably think, do you know what, this girl is really, but it's because I've had that mentality that one of the teachers that I saw last year said, we're like a chickpea, Allah throws things at us, challenges at us, tests at us, because he's preparing us for, the next world. And every test that we go through here is a blessing in disguise. And I never truly understood it. Even now, sometimes I go through things and I'm like, why am I going through this? I've been through enough. I'm like, what is Allah teaching me? And business is the same. Like, in business, we meet people that teach us a lesson, teach us what we need to learn. But then, we impact them as well as a reverse. And I do feel like when you see social media, isn't just about your business, but it's about how you're impacting the ummah. It completely changes. You do want to show up. You do want to, share the message, or your voice, or your tone of voice, which ChatGPT can't do, because the message isn't there. So yeah, it's been a journey. It really has. But alhamdulillah for all the tests and for being where I am today. Someone said to me the other day, they said, Ashi, do you remember your aloe vera business? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I'm so grateful for it, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Where we start is always valuable, isn't it? Because it leads us to where we are today. And what you're mentioning, subhanAllah, about the challenges, the loss of your grandfather, the cancer that you've had, subhanAllah, and all of that. It's like, as you said, social media doesn't show these parts. And that's what I like to do with this show, is that to highlight those challenges that we go through, because they do make who we are today. And also with a lot of people who, mashallah, achieved where they are today, is that they didn't let these obstacles hold them back, but they used these obstacles to keep them moving forward. And as you said, for yourself and for the Muslim Ummah, what I really liked is all about what you said, is that you've gone through your own healing and counseling. And the fact that you wanted to help other women, it didn't stop you from focusing on yourself, because it starts with us. And if we don't do our own healing, it's sometimes difficult for us to help others with their own healing, because we're not there yet. So I love how you approached it, where you focus on your own healing and using your own healing to help others in their own healing as well. So that's very powerful. Sometimes when you go through life experiences, and I'm speaking for myself as well, is that we put all our energy on others, but it does get to a level where we can't. It's like pouring from an empty cup. It's like we can't keep giving anymore. And this is the time where we realize, actually, you know what, I need to focus on myself first, so that I can give to others, whether that is through healing, through self-care, and so on. So it's about having that balance and giving ourselves our right, because it helps us to give others their rights as well. So very, very important that you made that. You also mentioned about you being your own enemy, which I find that we do that quite a lot sometimes as well. And it comes from traumas, upbringing, whatever it was that we went through. How does that impact on how we move forward in life?
I think it's that outlook of, if someone proposes something to you, the first thing, if you're going to say is, I can't do that, then because you've not given yourself a chance. And my son, sometimes he's in a game, he plays his Nintendo and he's like, oh, I keep losing. I was like, keep going. That it's not a loss, it's a lesson. And I think we see it like that. Like one of the especially for those that have been following my journey since 2015, do say, actually, how do you keep on going? And I'm like, do you know what, some days I don't even know where I get the strength from, but I know that Allah's doing it for a reason and I have to show up. And I always believe that we are on this earth for a story. Our story is going to impact somebody, if not your children, your siblings, whoever it is. And when you truly believe in your story, you don't become your enemy anymore. You become your best friend, because it's like, how can I be better for my story? How can I impact on a deeper level? How can I, share my story with everyone? And I think that realization came from, I can't remember the brother's name. Do you know who passed away from cancer many years ago? The MATW, the founder of, I can't remember his name, but he started a charity because he found out he had cancer. And it was his story.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like the story has everything to do, because it's your story. And if you're not your best friend, and I think it's just that, how do you become your best friend? Because especially when you've got a voice. And I used to, especially when I had postnatal depression and anxiety, someone said, explain it to me. And it's like there's a demon in my head. The demon in my head is telling me to end my life. I don't want to be here anymore. What's the point? And it's that devil that I'm talking about, that demon, that enemy within your head. And when you overcome that enemy, and again through Quran, listening to nasheeds, really finding your way of becoming your own best friend. Yes, therapy has got everything to do with it, but you need to have a passion for life. And especially us moms, when we have our babies and we become like a homemaker, you kind of lose that passion. It's like, what am I here for? What's my purpose in life? So it's refinding that passion. When you find the passion, you find the friend.
Absolutely. And that passion as well helps us to be better moms and better wives and better individuals in general. So that's amazing. And I love what you said about it's not a loss but a lesson. I love that, because it's, when we look at failure, sometimes we think, okay, that's it, I can't do it. So I love what you said there. And also the other thing I really loved what you said is about your story. Once you know your story and your why, you don't have that enemy anymore, and you have a purpose to continue doing what you're doing. So that's really, really powerful. So it shows how important it is to know what our story is and why we're doing what we're doing. And that's something I remember actually quite recently when I had somebody, and I approached somebody just to kind of collaborate on something, right, and on delivering a workshop. And she's a business coach, and she looked at my the work that I do, and she was like, what's your why? And she was like, it's not what you got there, there is something deeper. And I thought about it, it's like, that's actually true. So sometimes getting deeper to know what is your why, it's very powerful to know why you're doing what you're doing, and using that as well to help others. Because when we are passionate about something, it's because it started from somewhere.
I see the why question used to annoy me a lot. So in network marketing, we still have this recruitment process of, why do you want to start this business? A lot of people say, I can't start it because I've got kids. And I'm like, no, it should be the other way around. I can start it because I've got kids. And I think the why is the important part. Sometimes we do feel like we're doing it for the children or the family, but it's really not. It's for yourself, because you're seeking that validation. Yes, your business, the fruit your family eats and your children eat, but you're the why. And sometimes even as a woman, we find it hard to make us the why, because we're so selfless, and everyone comes first but us. So
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing I love what you said there as well is that we are the why, right? Or our children is the why, for instance. So that's really powerful. So thank you for sharing that. If you can tell us a little bit more about because I'm cautious of time, if you can tell us a bit more about your newly accredited coaching program to help businesses have deeper breakthroughs. I'd love to know more about that, and for listeners, inshallah, to benefit from that.
So it's so that's more on so the accredited program. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
All right. So the accredited program is a 5-certificate program to become a social media coach and marketer, so that you can kickstart your coaching business and start earning. But the recent program that gives you deeper transformation is my CEO Mastermind. So again, what I found was a lot of coaches are online. They've got very basic training, and they was lacking the deep modalities and the techniques, and how to give their clients a deeper transformation. So for example, getting to know their temperament, getting to know their personality type, if they're an introvert, extrovert, but then do they need shadow healing? Do they need inner child healing? Different techniques like EFT tapping and stuff like that, masculine and feminine energy. So I crafted my CEO mastermind that clients can have their deeper breakthrough, but they can also, it's like a domino effect, give that to their clients as well, because they're mastering the art themselves. So that again, the impact is like a domino effect. I impact you, you impact your clients, your client impacts their children. And again, the mission is not just about me helping coaches, it's helping the ummah, because a lot of my clients, I mean, not really had a client that's non-Muslim, if I'm honest. In network marketing, yes, I did, but in the coaching world, I haven't. So it's impacting the ummah, because again, it's when we look at our foundation, it's our children. And when we look at if we can heal ourselves and our clients can heal their clients. So yeah, the CEO mastermind is to give you that deeper business breakthrough so that you can hit higher cash months. You can have a business model that works aligned to you and your soul's purpose, rather than just a generic one. And it's not just ChatGPT made up, but it's having the skill set to give deeper transformations.
And that's specifically for coaches, or is that for any business owners?
Well, last year I did it, and it had a variety of clients in there. It had, network marketers in there. It had a clothing business in there, a baker in there, coaches in there. This year I've made it, just for coaches, because the impact has changed. My intention has changed, and when I've seen it as it's there to impact the ummah. So yeah, it's just for coaches.
And is it specific coaches or any form of coaches?
So you could be a mindset coach, a healing coach, relationship coach, a marriage coach, parent coach. Yeah, it does not matter. But the model is there created to give deeper breakthroughs, because a lot of clients come to me saying, my clients aren't satisfied, they need more healing sessions, which we always do. We're always a healing project. But it's just they lack deeper modalities and techniques to give that transformation.
Very interesting. Would there be like training on social media in it, or specifically to how they can help this?
Yes. So there's 3 parts to it. So it's the healing side, the training side, and then you've got your business and social media side. So it's like a 4-step program where it covers what tends to happen. And again, I do my research before I lay out anything. And when I did my research, there's no other coach out there that gives you training, gives you healing, gives you social media, and gives you a business breakthrough. And I thought, right. And Allah's given me the gift of finding gaps in the market, and I tend to do it with my clients as well. I'd be like, oh my God, I found a gap in the market. You need to create an offer based on this. And they'll doubt it at first, and they'll be like, right, we'll trust your gut and we'll go with it. And then it's a success. And I've always had the gift of the gab like that, where I see gaps in the market and I'm like, I know what to run with, what not to run with. Like someone said to me last year, should I do a feminine energy course? And I was like, no, it's just a trend. The trend's going to die down, and it actually has died down now. So yeah.
Quite interesting, subhanAllah. And how long are those your coaching programs?
So the CEO mastermind that I've just mentioned now is 6 months, but all my like I have Sales Vault, which is just for sales. You could be any sort of business. If you need help with just sales, it's a 6-session program. You can buy self-paced. That's 6 sessions. I've got my one-to-ones, which are from 6 to 12 sessions, so 3 to 6 months. It does depend on you. And then I have my done for you services. So if you're like, I don't need coaching, I just need something done, like a content marketing plan, I need my social media done for me, then there's that as well, which is like a monthly service.
So you do quite a lot to help, mashallah, business owners. So that's amazing, mashallah. I'm just going to remind all the listeners that we have Ashi with us on the show today, who's a business coach and social media trainer. She's a mom of 2 and currently helping women with social media sales, as well as becoming accredited coaches as well, and having deeper business breakthroughs. Dear listeners, any questions, please feel free to send them 0779 481822. So Ashi, mashallah, we talked quite a lot about what you do and the importance of social media in businesses, and the challenges that we can go through, specifically when it comes to the mindset. and how we view things and being our own enemy, and how you provided some great tips to help with that as well. I'm interested to know as well, and for the listeners to listen, and that's something when I started, I said I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, is that being a mom of two, and mashallah, you said that when you first started your business, your son was 3 months. I was like, wow, mashallah. So how is managing a business and being a mom of two, mashallah, going for you so far? And if you can do it, others can do it too. Are there some tips?
I think, do you know what, and again, it starts off with you. When I first started, even when I started my coaching business, it was all haywire because I didn't have a system in place. I didn't know my working routine. I didn't know how to soothe myself. And I think and I said this at the beginning, that you have to become your biggest support like network, and support yourself in that journey. What are your working hours? And they don't have to be 5 hours long, like, especially with mine now being at full-time school. But when Ariana wasn't at school and she was at preschool, so she would go in from 9 till 11, and they were my 2 hours of working, because I know when she came back, she was very hands-on. But I got to know my children as well. So with the healing, I got to know what their temperaments are. I got to know their personality type, their love languages. So I knew how to speak in their love language when my working hours were. So for example, now they're both sitting, both doing their own thing. But it's just supporting yourself in your business, that it can be done. I mean, one of my clients has got, mashallah, 5 children. The youngest, when she started training with me, he was 9 months. And he's the youngest, and mashallah, she's completely smashed it as well. So I think it can be done, but you have to have the healing side and the business coach side at the beginning to support you in your journey of starting your social media business. And things come up, like, especially when you hear your first no, when you've given the lead a sales link or whatever it is, and they say it's too expensive. We take that personally. So a lot in business, we have to make sure we don't take things personally. We have to grow with the trends and grow with ourselves, because one of my leaders in network marketing said, new levels equals new devils. And I was like, I was running with that, and I was like, no, astaghfirullah, like, no, it's new levels equals new ways of thinking, new ways of doing. So yeah, I think the biggest thing that I would say is support yourself, and know exactly how to support yourself. Know your love language, pour into you, because you're pouring into your business and your family, and you need to make sure you have that balance. So yeah.
Absolutely. And when you said the when we get a no, we take that personally, right? And that's where you mentioned earlier as well, when we first started, having a support system is very important. And you also just mentioned just now supporting yourself. So having that support of yourself, having a support system to help you, because if you're trying to do it in your own, and a lot of people in this side business, they do it in their own, right? Because it's difficult to when you make a start financially and so on. So having that support system is very important, because you will be let down quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it's about making sure that you continue the journey and get the support, as much support as possible, and making dua with the journey as well, because the power of dua and alhamdulillah, we bless in our religion. Absolutely. And it's that, and I usually use that quite a lot, is tying your camel and putting tawakkul on Allah. Sorry, you were going to say something, right?
No, it's true. Completely. I think it's also being your number one cheerleader. Like, I saw it even now in my journey, when I look and I'm like, the support was non-existing. Anyone that I shared my ideas with or excitement with, just shut it down straight away. And in business, you have to be your number one cheerleader. You have to be your number one, again, supporter. But when it comes to your wins, keep them to your chest. And identify them, enjoy them, but keep them to your chest, because nazar is real as well. And I've suffered with a lot when it comes to nazar and stuff, but it's just having that tawakkul in Allah, that even if a no comes, there's hair in every delay, but also knowing that your dreams aren't too big, where Allah has created the universe, everything, your dream is literally tiny fraction of that, and you're not asking for too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting when you said about the personality types. What personality testing do you use, or what personality testing have you used in your work or with your children?
So it's for example, if I, especially when I do social media training, and if someone comes to me and they say they're an introvert person and they want to become a social media coach, I'll be like, no, that's not your line of work. virtual assistance is, social media management is, where it's one-to-one kind of work. If they come to me and they are an extrovert and they say, I want to do VA, and I'm like, no, yours is more of events type around people, depending on their temperament as well. So there's a few quizzes that I send out to get to know who they are. Even in my CEO mastermind, when I was doing the waitlist applications, I really wanted to know that the right person is the right fit for, because it's not for everyone. So I think, again, a lot of coaches don't do this. It's all about the money, and people are a number, whereas I'm quite the opposite.
And I love that about you, mashallah, and about the work that you do. Time has been running very fast. Barakallah khair. We've got a few seconds left, so thank you so much, Ashi, for being with us today. Thank you for you're welcome. Thank you to all our dear listeners. Dear listeners, our show is on Monday, 6 o'clock every Monday. So please stay tuned, and I will see you all next week. Jazakallah khair again, Ashi.
Thank you. Walaikum assalam.